Welcome to the 2016 Dixon Awards Lunch. We're here to celebrate democracy, transparency, and your right to know. For 26 years, the New Mexico Foundation for Open Government has been working for New Mexico, demanding to see public records, opening up meetings, shining a light in all corners of the state. Democracy thrives when citizens have information about what government is doing. Only then can the First Amendment be freely exercised. Each year, FOG recognizes those New Mexicans who champion in the cause of transparency by presenting the William S. Dixon Freedom Awards. Bill was a founder of FOG and a passionate champion of the First Amendment. Bill never let us forget the vital link between the First Amendment and open government. This year, FOG is proud to honor these open government advocates: Terri Cole, Steve Terrell, Dr. Annette Rodriguez, and Norm Gaume. Terri Cole is CEO of the Greater Albuquerque Chamber of Commerce. Terri is one of the first business people in the state who recognized the link between government transparency and a strong economy.
Businesses want to locate and they want to be able to prosper in places where there is trust with government. And trust with government can pretty much only come in a transparent environment, and that's why it's so important. Transparency is the keystone to democracy, and people who live and work in this state want to feel free to be able to talk to their government and to hear back from their government in a complete and transparent way. It's very important for everyone who lives here to have a state that promotes the notion of democracy, and nothing really does that better than a state that is open and transparent.
Journalists use public records every day. In his 29 years at the Santa Fe New Mexican, Steve Terrell has been in the forefront of access battles. He uses records to bring the public the facts.
Well, yeah, the average citizen should care about transparency because you have all these politicians making all these great promises and all this great rhetoric about how great they are, and sometimes it's just not true. You need the records to see what they're really doing sometimes. If you listen to whoever's in power, they're going to tell you they're the greatest governor or mayor or whatever ever, and the records sometimes prove them wrong. And people should care if the person in charge of the government is telling them the truth or not. Well, you know, sometimes if they say, we're doing better in the economy, then you see records where they're not, or education, or whatever the issue is. That's the cold hard facts. They can spin it how they want, but it's good to have the actual documents, see what actually happens. And every politician exaggerates. Every politician sometimes lies. Yeah, fact checking is invaluable. You do see more of it, and I think in this election is far more necessary.
Transparency in education builds public trust. No one knows that better than Professor Annette Rodriguez. She helps shine a light on our public universities.
I like to think that good governance has nothing to hide, right? Good governance wants to be shared. Good governance wants to be public. Transparency in government really affects education in several ways. We think of our public education as put aside for the public good. So we put a number of public resources to our education system. Our taxes, our bond measures. We put forward federal and state grants. And then students and parents and families put together their monies for tuition. And so we have just a number of resources going into our public education system. And so for me, it's really important to emphasize that we have to be transparent about how resources are being used, how we're choosing the people who make those decisions, and how we're making sure they represent the needs of the community.
Citizen involvement is key to a strong democracy. Norm Gaume is an open government warrior. He's demanded important government decisions be made in the sunshine.
Well, as a citizen and as an ex-government official, I view transparency as an essential part of checks and balances. It's necessary for accountability. Without transparency, there basically is no accountability. And I think it should mean that the government has nothing to hide, that their decisions are on the merits, and they're doing things that are in the greater public interest. Throughout my career, and I've been involved in 2 or 3 major public policy decisions, the formulation of public policy dealing with water resources. That's what I did. And in my personal experience, nothing was hidden. It was all above board. And it was a question of values and money and feasibility with the facts all out on the table. But I would say that, that if you believe in something and you think that the government isn't doing it correctly, that you have both a right and an obligation as a citizen, to make to find out what the truth is and to make your views known.
You can be a Dixon hero too. Join FOG today at nmfog.org. Congratulations again to the 2016 Dixon Award winners and the 50 previous recipients of the award. May they and you continue the good fight. Thank you to our wonderful Dixon Lunch sponsors. Without you, this lunch would not be possible.